All right, everyone, welcome back to the Save Point Vids podcast. I am Josh, and as always, I've got Sean and Chase here. We're going to jump right in. I think we have a lot to say about what we've been playing.
That we do.
Mm-hmm. It's Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Who wants to kick it off?
Okay, I'll start.
Let me start here. Let me back up. Let's start here. Have you guys played any of the campaign?
Just the first mission.
I haven't started the campaign yet.
Okay.
Have you?
The campaign is good. I think I'm probably 2/3 of the way through it. I really like it.
I heard the campaign was really good.
It's one of my favorites in recent memory.
It's like the saving grace of that game so far.
So, yeah, it's very good. I like the story, the characters. It's very much in the vein of Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy stuff, that type of thing. But it's good. I like it a lot. After I'm done with it, I doubt I'll go back to it for any reason. I don't think there is a reason to go back unless you want to unlock some achievements or some trophies. But yeah, that's not really the reason we want to talk about it. No. So as far as multiplayer goes, who wants to start?
Well, I'll say first off, we are hardcore Call of Duty fans. So, just like everybody else, I think we're super duper hyped for the multiplayer in Modern Warfare.
And I think part of that was the beta. The beta really left a good impression.
Yeah. And it's weird how different it is from the beta.
It's also because on the beta they put 3 of the best maps that multiplayer has right now on the beta.
That's true, yeah.
They were all 3 lanes, right? 3-lane maps.
There's the smaller maps.
Yeah, there's Grozna,
that's true.
Gunrunner, Hackney, which are my 3 favorite maps.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about the multiplayer, which everybody already knows, is there's too much camping. There's too much sitting in a room with a claymore, which is what I do, because Infinity Ward pretty much is forcing everybody to play that way. Yeah. Because running around, as somebody who plays Call of Duty, running and gunning, I can't run in this game. I don't even like sprinting.
No.
I just walk.
Yeah, you walk everywhere. That's what I do.
Yeah, it doesn't help that your footsteps are so loud, and I know that's going to get patched out. It has to, because everybody's complaining about the footsteps being loud. But at the same time, the whole footsteps things, that's not going to eliminate most people from camping.
It comes down to the map design.
But I will say that if they do fix the footsteps, it'll be easier to root out campers.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Because you got the sound whores who just sit there, and then as soon as they hear footsteps, they ADS their door. To the room they're camping in, and then you got no chance to get them out.
Yeah, I heard they're fixing something to do with the claymores. They didn't specify.
Well, some of them are just not triggering. Really? I saw a video.
I'm just talking about how you can just have unlimited claymores.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't use the claymores. Just
put on shrapnel, you get 2 claymores. Put on restock, they regenerate every 30 seconds. And you just stick into a room and you just have claymores, 4 claymores every 2 minutes.
I don't see. I get it, in the sense that I understand Call of Duty. People play Call of Duty for different reasons. Some people like it because it's really competitive. They like to see their KD ratio super sky high. They like to, they're just ultra competitive about it. But when you're just sitting in a room waiting for the one person who will just walk by so you can shoot, you know what I mean?
It's so annoying.
It's just not fun. It's boring. And that was my big problem. The 3 of us were playing the other night, and I don't know if we were playing. It might have been Team Deathmatch or Domination. It doesn't matter.
When we played on Headquarters, that was my highest kill game. I had 28 kills that game. I went 28-9. Which would be an average game in Black Ops 4 for me.
I wish that I was recording the gameplay, because the last 4 deaths that I had were all literally from people just sitting in a corner waiting for somebody to just
That's
walk
75% of my deaths.
And I was just I'm over it. I'm really.
They need to fix the spawns.
The spawns
are
also
crazy.
The spawns are just the worst I've ever seen. I'm spawning with people like looking at me.
Yeah,
I'm spawning
I had that happen.
I'm spawning and running out, and then like a bad guy spawns behind me and shoots me. It's just
like I'll spawn in front of people who are already camping.
Now,
I'll spawn in front of people.
Right.
Like I'll spawn like with people already ADSing right where I'm like spawning. Right. That happened. One match, it was the final kill of the game, and you can see it on the final kill cam that there's nobody there. This dude's ADSing, just hard scoping right there, nobody there, and I just appear, and then he just gets me, and that's the end of the game. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, and obviously Infinity Ward, they know these issues exist. They need
to fix them fast, otherwise their multiplayer will die. It will die. I guarantee people will stop playing it.
Oh yeah, dude, I should be playing it as much as I love Call of Duty. I should be playing it a lot more than I have. It's mentally draining to play that way.
It's just frustrating. It really is.
It is meant because you got to check there's too many windows. There's too many random rooms and stuff. Like on St. Petrograd, there's like this one like on the street side, the one that has like the biohazard building, and then another building that has the street with the buses. There's like. On the side with the buses, there's like a random house that has like 2 stories, and like there's no reason for that to be there. And then there's just like this random little room, like alleyway that just leads to literally nowhere.
Now,
and it's like, why are these places there? They don't need to.
Let me ask you guys a question, because these complaints are all valid, absolutely 100%. And obviously it's not just us 3. I think tens of thousands, millions of people out there that have the same concerns. My question is if you guys remember like the last Black Ops 4 and the one before that, people were saying, and I remember this, people were saying they were not sick and tired, but and that might be an exaggeration, but they were tired of just the 3-lane maps. They wanted something different. So I think that this is a direct result.
You don't have to make it 3-lane, but you don't have to put so many damn windows in there that like you can't even move. Like you can literally get shot from like 360 degrees from any rooftop, any window. Like there's too much.
It is a lot.
You don't have to have 3 lanes, but you don't need as many windows and random rooms in the map.
And there can still be, I think, that elaborate 3-lane maps where it's technically 3 lanes. Because I think Grozny Raid, I know a lot of people don't like that map, but I think that's kind of 3-lane-ish. Yeah. And it's a little elaborate. There's a little too many windows.
Is that the one with the trench on one side? And
right.
Then, So you have the trench.
And you have choke points, which is what Call of Duty's all about. It's choke points and angles. But when you have 1,000 angles that you have to, which is impossible to, check every time you run across the street. It makes it very frustrating.
Like before I move, I'll look at like 10 different windows,
and it's the one that you didn't. It's the one that you didn't get see.
No, it's like I'll look at 10 different windows, and I'll get done checking them all, and by the time I'm like on the 10th window, somebody's at the first window, and I get shot. It's just like, man, I can't do this. Like,
it is frustrating. My question: we were talking about this off camera before we started recording. What do you think? Because they'll patch like the footsteps, the claymores. They'll patch that. They'll fix that.
Hopefully sooner than later, but it will be done.
It's a step in the right direction, but they need brand new map designs.
So my question is what do you expect to see with whenever it ends up being? When do you expect, or what do you expect to see out of the first map pack?
I expect at least. I think Nuketown may be in there. I heard a rumor about a 24/7 Nuketown playlist. I don't even know when that's coming. I expect maybe an old Modern Warfare map.
I read a leak earlier today. It was from Gaming Revolution, somebody who's like leaked a whole bunch of stuff for plenty of Call of Duties in the past, and like he leaked the gunfight mode for Modern Warfare months before it was announced and all this stuff. He read the codes in the game. And there's going to be like a new like farm ground war map, like a big map. There's going to be like 2 new maps that are coming out. And they're going to add Rust from Modern Warfare 2 to Gunfight.
I did hear about that.
To Gunfight, and they're going to add like a BR mode. And but there wasn't like any like multiplayer like 6v6 maps that were in the the code so far, but with all this feedback, I'm sure they have to add something to appease people.
They are going to have to go back to the traditional 3-lane.
That's my question.
Maps.
So let's say
it's not going to be soon because the maps that they're going to be releasing, they've already been working on since before they got this feedback. So it might be like
the 4
second
or
5 months,
which
now.
Is why like to fast track it, they should just remaster some old maps and put them in.
I would dig that.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see because and
it doesn't have to be 3. Just get rid of all the windows. People online are calling it Call of Duty window warfare and stuff like that.
It's true.
Claymore of Duty.
See, I haven't run into any claymores like that. But the windows and the second stories and the third stories and. Yeah, that is a concern, and it is frustrating.
Because everything else about like the multiplayer, really, like the customization's nice, the gunplay is amazing. I love the gunplay, and it's just.
I don't know if they will, but I think they should get rid of the mounting, because that like turns everything into a head glitch.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't use it. Yeah, I don't think I've ever used it.
I don't think they'll get rid of it.
Me either, but I think I think they should. I think it would make the game better and a little more fast paced if you couldn't mount on every little piece of wood that you find.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I don't know.
Who am I to say what should be done?
I think that probably this first map pack, it's going to be, let's say it's 5 maps, 3 maps, I don't know, who knows. I say probably 2 out of the 3 will be pretty wide open, pretty chaotic and random.
That's what I'm thinking.
And maybe one of them is going to be, if they didn't have this plan before, maybe one of them or 2 of them, depending on how many of the release, will probably be like a remastered and then an original.
Yeah, dude. I would play on Terminal 24/7.
Oh, something that they need to bring back. I don't know why it's not in this game, but they need to bring it back ASAP. Is map voting.
Yeah.
Why can't you vote for your maps? I don't want to play Piccadilly because that map is trash. There's too much going on. There's like 100 buses in the map. Like, there's like all. It's just
that is sure. I didn't realize that until now. Yeah.
Bring back map voting so I can play Gun Runner and Hackney Yard and
that's
Ramaza.
Nobody would be voting for Piccadilly or Azir Cave or
I don't mind Azir Cave.
It's all right, but man, people really like to camp that cave, and it's hard.
I don't go in the cave anymore.
It's
That's
hard to see in there.
I don't go in. I don't go in the cave anymore. I'll literally go from one entrance.
But then that's
go to
my
the perimeter.
point. It just cuts away half the map, and it's just like
no, I know.
And make some smaller maps.
Yeah,
the smaller maps are my favorite. Like like Hackney Yard and stuff.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I will say the one game that I jumped in, I think it was with you in Ground War. I can't do it, man. It's too much. Like it's literally I try staying back and sniping because anytime that I like run forward at all, it's literally 360. Like somebody's got their eye on you already, and I just like my probably my average lifespan it's got to be 15 seconds, and it's just so my thing is like I like the idea of Ground War, but make the map bigger. Make it 3-4 times
Battlefield big.
Yes, exactly.
That way, not everybody's like getting into the same spot. You have different areas.
That's what I mean. Because is it just the one? Is it just the quarry? Is that the one?
No, they added.
There's like a city.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Like
I don't like that one as much as quarry. There's too many buildings.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Just like, especially if you're gonna have vehicles, like just make it.
You got to get on top of a building and then just like aim down on people.
That's what I mean.
But there's like always like buildings in your way of like people, so you got to move, and then you're getting shot from a rooftop.
Right.
Yeah, dude. For this game, I usually wouldn't say this, but I wish there was a battle royale in this game because that'd probably be all I would play.
Well, that was in the code that the guy looked up with a BR, so I'm sure that'll be coming.
I think
soon.
the BR would be so much better than the multiplayer experience,
and they said like it'll probably be like the Spec Ops map that I haven't played Spec Ops,
I haven't touched Spec Ops yet.
But it's like there's like a map on Spec Ops, and that'll probably be like the whole BR situation.
Cool. Yeah, man.
So, yeah, there's problems.
Just my biggest gripe is the map design. Because the map design, Well, and the footsteps, but that'll get fixed. But the map design, I'm not sure if that'll get fixed.
It just encourages camping.
Yeah, everything about this game encourages camping, and that's fine if you want to camp, but like make the run and gun option viable.
Yeah,
it's not viable in this
you
game.
could camp or you can run and gun.
Yeah, but it's not viable in this game at all.
You can't do both in this game, not consistently.
No,
Anybody who says that they can do it consistently is lying, dude, because, yeah, that's just what they should do, which if they were smart and they don't want to piss people off, they should just crop their maps, because I imagine they could do that.
Well,
like, crop their maps down,
because
in the next couple weeks and re-release them.
There's a lot of dead space in a lot of these maps.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of just
like around, especially around the perimeters, which is where I typically am going, at least the last couple of days. But yeah, if you bring it in by 20%.
Yeah, get rid of some of the clutter.
Mm-hmm. Some of the random rooms on the outside.
Right.
Like on Hackney Yard, like that yellow building. You know that yellow building? Like, there's no need for that to be there.
Yeah. Is that in the back corner?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And like,
actually, that's funny that you say that, because this morning when I was playing that map, I spawned an enemy immediately spawned behind me.
Yeah. It's Call of Duty stuff, man.
So.
Yeah, but it seems more prevalent in this Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the spawns are the worst I've ever seen in the Call of Duty game, which is saying a lot, because Black Ops 4 spawns were just terrible. All the way up till Modern Warfare release.
All right, so let's switch gears. You've been playing Outer Worlds.
Yeah.
How do you like it?
It's really good. I'm only about maybe 7 or 8 hours in. Very reminiscent of like some Fallout in space. I hear people comparing it to Firefly, which I've never seen that show. It's like a...
Oh, I haven't either. I know
but it has like a huge cult following. It's like this like sarcastic space adventure type thing. But yeah, it's...
Nathan Fillion. That's the
actor. That's
I couldn't think
who
of
it
who it
is.
was.
The thing that really got me is like the graphics are really good.
Is it?
Yeah, and it's not like super over the top graphics, but they have like an amazing color palette that they're using.
Well, I've seen some videos and some screenshots.
Like the skyboxes are just like the best I've seen.
Really?
Like it's like Halo skyboxes but better. The gunplay is not as like...
Oh, excuse me.
It's a little meatier than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yeah.
Now,
the game, it's very like it's just
now
just
is it
RPG.
like can you use gunplay? Is it just like a shooter? Is it like Borderlands with RPG elements, or is it an actual the game, or is it more like Fallout where it's...
I don't know if they're crunching numbers behind the scenes.
Okay, that was my question. Or is it more just like a shooter and then...
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it feels more like a Borderlands.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like... Because even in Fallout, if you're aiming at somebody...
Well, that's
like
what I mean.
Fallout 3,
If your
miss.
accuracy, you could be aiming at somebody in the head, but if your accuracy wasn't high enough, it would count as a miss.
Right. And that's not the impression I've gotten so far. So I'd say it's more shooter-like.
Okay.
With RPG elements. And yeah, it's really good. I'm having a lot more fun playing that than Modern Warfare. Which goes without saying.
So how far do you think you are in the game? Because I've heard some people saying that
I'm on the second planet.
I've heard some people say that they've... Now, I don't know if they like main pathed it and, just went straight for the ending, but I've seen people say that they beat it in 15, 18 hours. So do you feel...
I've read some that said you can beat it in 15 minutes if you know what to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like one of those kinds of games.
Okay. So, yeah, I just didn't know if you got the impression that, at 7, 8 hours, you think you're halfway?
No. I'm like going around doing all the side quests and like exploring every little nook and cranny. That's kind of what I do in my RPGs. But yeah, I heard you can just play it any way you want to. Like I said, I heard somebody beat it in 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Which... They might be exaggerating. I don't know if that's possible, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm excited to see what Obsidian kind of comes up with next after this. Even though I haven't beat it yet, this just like puts Fallout 76 and Fallout 4 to just like complete shame. Like this is like what people wanted Fallout to be like.
Right. Well, that's
and they're always going to get compared just because Obsidian's like...
Right.
I don't think they're the original creators. I think maybe Black Isle was, but I know the original people worked on
Right.
original game.
On
I don't know if
team.
Obsidian was actually the studio.
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's interesting because it looked like Fallout 4, and then obviously Fallout 76 has been a mess since it launched. But Fallout 4 was. It was almost like made in a vacuum. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is when Fallout 4 came out, The Witcher 3 released, within that same year. And so it's like Fallout 4 was basically just like a prettier version of Fallout 3, which at the time when Fallout 3 was released was great, but then action RPGs had like evolved from there.
Yeah.
And so my thing is like, with The Witcher 3, with Cyberpunk, these open world RPGs, with Outer Worlds, because Bethesda games, when you get a Bethesda game, whether it's, Elder Scrolls or Fallout, basically what you're getting. It's gonna be buggy. It's gonna be, very obtuse. They're like getting lapped in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so with the next go around, when whether it's Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever, are they gonna finally catch up, or are they just gonna stick to like,
I don't know,
we're Bethesda
man.
and this is the way we make games?
I don't really have a lot of faith in whatever Elder Scrolls 6 is going to end up being, or Starfield, not even until they show me, man, because they'll probably just, until it releases, right. I'm not going to trust that the game is going to be that good.
Right.
Now, I do know that they wholly fucked up with Fallout 76.
We'll get into that. Because, yes. Now, let me ask you this. Have you played any Outer Worlds? Anything like that? Nothing?
No, I've just been...
Call of Duty?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but yes.
Did you see, speaking of Fallout 76, did you see that they have the subscription?
Yeah, dude, what in the fuck were they thinking, man?
So they're
the
like...
game is not even,
they're
complete.
They're like, all this PR, all the, because you got to think, like, the game still doesn't have NPCs. The game,
still buggy.
Just like, even just going back to the launch, like, they were promised, like, the pre-order, the deluxe edition or the special edition is supposed to have, like, this really nice
bag.
This bag.
Canvas bag.
Yeah, and it turned out to be, like, this plastic, like this plastic, like, grocery bag, like, reusable grocery bag. And so, they've just been misstepping, one after the other. And the thing is like, I'm not going to say that people that spend money on this subscription are like dumb, because I spend money on subscriptions that are like awful. I have a DoorDash subscription. I pay $10 a month for it.
You need a subscription to
No,
DoorDash?
you don't need a subscription. I'm saying I pay extra for DoorDash so I get cheaper, because I use it so much that I get cheaper delivery rates, like delivery fees.
Well, that's not stupid then if you use it that much.
But yeah, right. But like, to somebody, my point is that to somebody out there, they're like, what are you doing? Like, stop. So I'm not saying that, because there are hardcore Fallout 76 players that are probably using this. My thing is that it was supposed to be, or the way I understand it is that the money was supposed to provide you private servers.
Yeah, which they're not. Once the host leaves, that world is gone. It's a private playground, but once you log off, it's not persistent. Mm-hmm. A private server, it implies that, like, next time you go into the world, everything is going to be the way you left it. It's like having your own little single player, multiplayer space.
Exactly, for you and your friends to, like, mess around in. Once you basically, as the host, log off, everybody else is booted from the world, and the next time you go in, it's like starting over.
Right.
And it's just like, why? I just don't understand. I just don't understand what Bethesda with, like, and on top of that, it's $13 a month.
Yeah,
like, that's fucking egregious,
a lot, dude.
Like, that's insane.
That's just money grub, and that's all it is. I don't think I've read over what they offered, and I don't think it's definitely not worth a monthly subscription. Like, your own private servers, which aren't private, people like log in and like shit's already been looted, and like, like everything's like gone and stuff.
Now, did you see real quick? Did you see that in that world, like, there's an icon that pops up over people's heads, that shows whether they're a paying subscriber or not. And what they've been doing is the free players have been beating up the paying subscribers. Taking all their shit. They've just been like basically like hunting these people down that are
That's
paying.
hilarious. Why would you do that, though? I feel like they're just trying to like shame people into like getting the subscription, which is really not.
Which obviously isn't working.
To me, actually.
No, if the game was free to play, sure, I could,
Yeah.
$10 a month, if you wanted to pay, $10 a month, almost like a battle pass or a season pass. But yeah, I don't know what Bethesda's thinking. I think they're not going to because they have so much invested in this game, but they really just need to like
shut it down.
Set an end date and just shut it down and move on to the next thing.
They can't be making. That's why they did that.
Well,
They
of
can't
course.
be making any money off of this. They're
Not
trying
at all.
to just recoup their losses.
Yeah. Just get back to
even if
get back
can.
to even and just move on.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't been playing anything other than Modern Warfare either.
Is there any?
Really, I'm just probably going to be playing that until Death Stranding comes out. It's out in a little over a week.
I was gonna ask: does anybody know if or the release date? Any rumors on the new map packs?
I haven't heard.
No, I hope it's not too long.
I would imagine that they'll have something by the end of the year.
Yeah,
But I don't know that for sure. I mean, there's 60 days
even
left.
Still, that's too long with the way this game's going.
And it might be pushed up. They might release it, and I really don't see them releasing it honestly any sooner than December. The reason
I know they won't, but they need
is
to.
because they don't want it to seem like they're panicking behind the scenes.
They
Caving into.
They need to win back. Because even the hardcore COD fans, even the
I know.
pros aren't happy with this game.
No, I know. I was reading, I can't remember who was tweeting about it, but yeah, somebody was saying that, for this year, especially with obviously, he was saying that like, it's, and I'm paraphrasing of course, it's unbelievable that they would release these maps when, your professional COD league, it's $25 million to get a franchise. And then only, as of right now, there's only probably 4, maybe 5 maps that you can use.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, he was like, and so, stuff like that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I really don't think that they're going to release it. It wouldn't shock me if it was actually until after the first of the year. I will say,
be surprised. They have until like Cyberpunk, until Last of Us 2, until Final Fantasy VII Remake, and if they don't turn this game around, once those games come out, I will probably never pick this game back up again.
So
just wait for the new COD at the.
They should at least drop Nuketown before then, just to kind of appease people.
I think that they will.
If they don't turn it
if
around
not a
by
whole
then,
map, or a whole pack, then maybe 1 or 2 retro maps.
Yeah.
Like classic maps.
Just if they just bring out just like some retro maps and map voting.
Yeah, that's surprising. Like I said, I never noticed it, so obviously I didn't miss it too much. But it is a little weird that they didn't have. They didn't have it.
I don't think anybody would vote for like St. Petrograd and Piccadilly and maps like that if they had the choice.
Right.
I just want to know how those maps like made it past play testing. Like, these maps are good to go.
I don't know.
All right, we'll switch gears. We'll see how Infinity Ward responds. The news of the last week or so. First story I've got is actually from Engadget. Xbox All Access financing returns with Project Scarlet upgrade option. So, are you guys familiar with like the Xbox All Access?
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah, I heard about that, but yeah, go ahead.
So it's basically a way for users to make monthly payments on new consoles rather than just paying, the $500 up front. But what they're doing is they're actually going to do one for, and the reason I bring this up is they're going to do one for Project Scarlet. You'll be able to make monthly payments. There'll be a $20 additional fee if you've already subscribed to the program with like an Xbox One X or One S. which really seems like a good idea. The reason being, and the reason I bring this up is I'm wondering, do you think, because Microsoft for the last, I would say 12 months, with things like Game Pass, Project Scarlet, or Project xCloud seeming to be, going well as far as like their beta testing, they seem to be making all the right moves. We've talked about that before. Do you see Sony following suit with something like this, where you can go through Sony's website and basically finance a PS5 where, maybe you're not paying, if let's say it's $400, you get an extra controller, that's probably going to be $60-$70. You get at least one game. I mean, it's not inconceivable for somebody to spend $600-$700 on launch day for a new console, which for, I would say, the majority of people is just not feasible.
It's too much.
So, do you think that they'll release a similar option, or is Sony just going to be Sony about it and just be, because they really seem, I think they've gotten comfortable with PS4's sales lead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is like,
it almost
it's
reminds me.
It's obviously possible, but I don't really see them doing that because right now they kind of have all the clout in the world with PlayStation 4 being as big as it is.
This, and I'm not obviously the only one to say this, it reminds me a lot of coming out of the PS2 generation.
Right.
Where they had such a commanding lead that they went into the PS3. You guys remember seeing the press conference where they announced the PS3?
Oh yeah, man! I watch it at least like once a year. It's hilarious.
$599 US.
Yeah, like the
Kaz Hirai says that you'll get a second job just to be able to afford just the most like off the wall ridiculous stuff. And my fear for them is, are they going to be so arrogant going into the next generation that they might repeat some of these mistakes in other ways?
I hope not.
I hope not either. I want them all to do well.
I hope they would have learned their lesson.
But I see what you're saying, though, because it does seem like they are very just... They kind of think they got the market on lockdown.
That's what I mean. And it's just like... And so who knows? Like, it might not be a big deal, but I really like the idea of, yeah, hey, I'm going to make 18 payments. I'm going to make 12 payments for this, console.
It's smart. It'll boost the user base by a lot, just being able to have monthly payments. Because
like
whatever you pay $30 a month or whatever, $20 a month.
Right.
They should do it.
It's way easier to swallow than just the $700 you end up spending.
And it reminds me of just like cell phones. Like now you don't have to pay, for the new iPhone 11. You don't have to pay $1,000 or whatever. You can go to Sprint or AT&T and make your $25 a month payment, So it'll be interesting to see. I really hope, like I said, Microsoft's making all the right moves. They have been doing that for a long time. I just hope that, again, Sony's just not so arrogant that they're, because I see it coming. I really do. They dropped the price of PlayStation Now to $10, which was at $20. It was absolutely insane. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested. They'll have, again, the rumors are in February they'll have the full blowout for PS5. I'll be interested to see if they talk about stuff like that, just because I think for a lot of people that's important.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They'll have to. Oh, actually,
I don't know if they'll do it on stage.
I don't know if they'll drop a price on stage because that could go like really bad if it's expensive,
right?
And they don't have maybe a payment option.
My thing is with that is if it's going to be $400, which I would imagine probably $350 to $400, I think that you probably just get that out of the way, don't you? You just rip the Band-Aid off and you say, hey, it's
and $400's not that bad, honestly, for a launch.
But if it's like over like 500,
like
500, 600.
But everything I've been reading, like Microsoft is really trying to build the most powerful console.
Right.
And obviously that is going to cost a lot more. So I think maybe that's why they're doing the payment plan because if you're able to pay it off every month, it's probably going to be at $500. I'm guessing.
You think so?
I heard like the rumors that there's like going to be 2 SKUs, but I don't actually know if that's true or not.
It wouldn't shock me if there were.
Yeah.
If it was, you have like the Pro model and then the base model.
But yeah, I want like the most powerful console next generation.
Yeah,
and if it's Microsoft, that's really cool because then
because they've talked about the specs already, haven't they? I know they have for the PS5.
Yeah.
Because you got to think like even if it's going to be the most powerful console, like the chipsets and the graphic cards that they're using, at this point they're probably 2 years old or more.
Mm-hmm.
The reason, obviously, because for manufacturing, if you're going to manufacture 10 million consoles, you have to,
right?
You know what I mean? Like you have to be planning that years in advance to have that supply. But on paper, the consoles themselves, the specs themselves, seem to be pretty evenly matched.
Yeah, I don't. At the end of the day, I don't think there's going to be like a huge difference.
I don't either.
It's just going to be like the Xbox One X and the PS4.
It's going to be your exclusive machine. It's going to be like, do you want to play Halo or do you want to play Uncharted? Or you know what I mean?
Right.
Because the consoles themselves, I think, are just at this point, outside of first party and paid exclusives, like it's going to be, I would imagine, the same
right
everywhere.
Yeah, so I didn't know that. So they're releasing PS5 info in, what'd you say, February?
That's the rumor, is going to be,
Isn't that, don't they have, am I tripping? Does Sony have an event every year at the beginning of the year?
At the end of the year. It's
the end of the year.
PSX. Well, it's not every year. They didn't do it last year.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, before last year they had it. That's where, they talked about, they've talked about The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, there have been. Mm-hmm. It's like a Sony fan event, basically.
Gotcha.
I don't know if they'll do it this year or not. Actually, I don't think they will. They would have announced it by now. So who knows? Yeah, but I thought that was interesting, just the financing option, because I mean, even for me personally, that is it's
way more palatable than.
It's a very attractive option rather than potentially again dropping, depending on the price of the console, $600, $700, $800. The next story I have is, where did it go? Oh, here it is. Nope. The Last of Us Part 2 gets delayed until May.
Yeah, I saw that. Which is kind of a no-brainer.
So, I thought it was weird, though, because it's going to be released May 29th. They originally had a February release trailer.
Right.
What makes you... I just thought the timing was weird. Literally 2 weeks ago, they had a trailer that said the game is coming February 20th. Uh-huh. And then 2 weeks later, they say, "Oh, we got to push it until the end of May." Do you think that there's anything behind that, or do you just think that?
No, I think they're just polishing it, and then also it's just Final Fantasy VII, which is also an exclusive.
Right.
It's coming out. You don't want to release those in the same window, and Cyberpunk. I think
it's just for
even
the game.
As big as Last of Us is, it could. I'm not going to say it'll get lost in the shuffle because it's such a big. It's not even a franchise, but it's just a big name in gaming. But it could very easily kind of slip through the cracks for a lot of people with.
Right.
I think Cyberpunk's most people are hyped for Cyberpunk than anything else.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it just seemed really strange that they were going to. Yeah, that they were going to announce it. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the game. I think. Well, if you remember Neil Druckmann, the creative director of the first one and the second one, but of the first one, when the first one. I don't know if you guys remember this. You probably don't. The game was delayed. Also, the first title. It was delayed by about 60 days. And he said that game, the reason the game is what it is because it really came together in those last 60 days.
Okay.
So that's probably all it is. Yeah. I think that Naughty Dog, they have the clout to be able to go to Sony and say, hey, we need more time. You're going to have to deal with it. I don't think every developer can get away with that. Most, I don't want to say most, but a lot of them would just release the game and then patch it as they went.
Yeah, we know a few of those.
So, but yeah, I'm interested to see kind of how that game is going to perform in relation now that it's outside.
It's going to sell like gangbusters, and it wouldn't have sold that much.
That's what I mean. Like, did somebody behind the scenes crunch the numbers and say, hey, based off of what we're hearing about Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy, and whatever other game, I'm sure there are a ton of other games that I'm not even thinking about right now, but those being the big ones.
Even though it's Microsoft exclusive.
If we move it until, the summer when it's typically a little slower.
Right.
Can we sell an extra 1 million copies?
Yeah, somebody crunched those numbers and already figured that out.
Yeah. And so
most people, it's like, to the average consumer who doesn't have like $200 to spend on all three, they're going to pick one or maybe two of those games. And maybe for a significant portion, maybe Last of Us is the last one on their list. Or, you know what I mean?
It's not even about like money sometimes. It's just like I just got this new game and I'm investing my time into that, so I want to invest in my time into another game right away.
Especially with big RPGs like 7 and Cyberpunk, those are going to take a lot of time.
I mean, you got to imagine Cyberpunk. You can probably spend several hundred hours in that game. If anything, if Witcher is anything to go by, you can spend 300-400 hours in that game doing everything.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Man, yeah. The last story that I have is actually one that we just we watched the trailer for right before we started recording. Is the Death Stranding release trailer. First off, because I got some follow-up questions, but first off, what did you guys think of the trailer itself?
It was cool.
The actual trailer was cool.
I expected no less from Kojima in a cinematic trailer, but
yeah.
It's kind of like the Return of the King of trailers, where you had like 9 endings.
Yeah, that's actually funny. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I'm still confused.
I am too.
I have a more general idea of what the
direction the story is going
what the plot thread is, like the main plot thread, but it's all the little details like that.
So basically, Amelie, and I'm going to spoil it for people that, if you don't want to know anything about it,
go watch the trailer real quick.
Yeah,
I mean, quick. It's an 8-minute trailer, but go watch it.
But Amelie, I think it's how you or Emily, Amelie. It doesn't matter.
I got all the names confused.
Yeah, there's a lot of names.
It sounds like she was sent out west first, and she didn't complete her mission, basically to reconnect society.
Was that the blonde-haired?
I think it was the blonde
chick. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was sent out there first, and at some point she wasn't able to complete her mission, so they send out Sam.
And it seems like they were love interests
to pick up the pieces, kind of where she left off. But yeah, there might be a love interest
between them,
storyline going on. And it's basically up to you to reconnect these strands, these cities, by activating these
like beacons
basically. But how that ties into Mads Mikkelsen, how that ties into the larger plot or the larger world.
Also, something they brought up that I don't think they mentioned in other trailers, or maybe the 49-minute trailer because I didn't watch it, was the extinction events.
Yeah, I don't remember hearing about that either.
Yeah, they said like there's been 5 extinction events, and then this one's the 6th one, and then it showed like some like whale.
It looked like the dudes from Avengers, the original Avengers movie.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. So I don't know. That's just like another thing.
It's
crazy.
That could be the reason why the society is fractured.
Right.
We are in the middle of the 6th extinction, or the beginning stages of the 6th extinction. So it'll be interesting. My question for you guys is not the trailer itself, but in 2 weeks or in a week and a half when the game is out to everybody, it's not going to matter. So, what did you guys think of like the marketing and the rollout of this? Because I to be honest, and you know where I'm going with this, because it just seems like,
honestly, I think it first off, I think the game's gonna be good, but I think the marketing it's been
very strange,
all over the place.
It's been fucking weird.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what they wanted.
Yeah, I believe it was purposely vague and weird,
but that's not necessarily the best way to market your game.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just like it was vague and like what it was being shown.
I think he was trying to do the same thing he did with Metal Gear Solid, but the difference is that Metal Gear Solid was already a well-established franchise when he was doing it.
Right.
And people knew what was going on.
Yeah, people
vaguely what these characters are and what they're about.
Right.
Like this is like,
but it's brand new, so it's more confusing than normal.
right? Because he already has all this stuff down to a T in his head, but we don't know anything about this game. So when he is so vague in his trailers and like, it's very confusing and it can turn some people off.
Well, I just mean like, yeah, no, I get all that. What it just seems like this game was just like, and again, it's not going to matter. Excuse me, it's not going to matter when it was released, but like, just the last, I'd say 2.5 months, maybe since E3. Like, I feel like this game has just been talked about so much. You know what I mean? And it was just like, it was all these different trailers and then the 49 minutes, and it was just like, I don't know if Kojima, that was part of his like contract, like, hey, I'm going to talk about this game any way that I want, and your PR and your marketing staff is going to be basically at my disposal. But it was just like, you know, it was Jeff Keighley, and then it was Conan O'Brien. It was just, it's like,
yeah, that was.
It just seems all
the Conan thing was really weird.
It was just, it's all, everything just seems just a little bit off. I don't know. And like I said,
I'm sure it was all by design.
Yeah, it probably was.
I mean, it got people talking, and you know, and maybe like people like it's on Conan, so people who wouldn't have known about the game otherwise like are like looking into it maybe.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. It's for a strange game, some strange marketing, everything about this. Yeah. It's a very mysterious, strange game.
So let's make our final predictions, because like I said, tomorrow night, we're recording this on the 30th of October, tomorrow night at midnight, which is technically November 1st. The embargo will be lifted. Where do you think, and this is Price is Right rules, so get the closest without going over. Where do you think it lands on Metacritic?
On Metacritic.
Ooh, I'll say 90.
I was thinking 88.
88. Closest without going over. I'm going to say 84.
84. The reason I say 90 is because, first off, I do think the game's going to be really good, but even if it turns out it's not very good, I think people might say it's good because it's Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this is what I was saying before.
Say 90.
So I'm going to say, like I said before, with the Nintendo bump.
That's different.
Listen.
They don't make bad games.
Do you... No, they don't make bad games, but I don't... Never mind. We'll get into that. Do you think that, whether consciously or like subconsciously, do you think this game is going to get a bump because it's Kojima and he coming out of the Konami fiasco? He was like the golden child, and you know, do you think that
it's not outside the realm of possibility? I personally don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen
because I think it's going to be a good game,
right?
At the end of the day, but yeah, there's some people out there who could be like.
And I'm sure there will be. Yeah, it was kind of a rhetorical question. Yeah, because I'm sure there will be. But, yeah, I'm interested to finally see what this fucking game is. Yeah, you know, because we've heard about it. When was it announced? 2016?
Yeah. Was it that long ago? Sweet Jesus.
I thought it was, like, longer ago.
Let me see.
I remember, like, the first, like announced...
4 years ago.
I know. I remember, like, the first, like, announced, like, the trailer or whatever. I was like, what the hell is this game? It was a long time ago.
Yeah. But
let me see here. Go ahead, keep talking. I want to find out when it was.
No, it was announced. I was trying to think back on the trailer if they showed any of the action bits.
It was announced at E3 2016.
Okay.
So 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what is actually happening.
Yeah, I want like somebody who is smarter than me to tell me what this game's about. When the review comes out.
I just hope it all comes together.
Yeah.
And I think it will. I think it'll be a good game. Mechanically, I mean, you know, if basing it off of MGS5, I think, you know, not the graphics, the gameplay is going to be solid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though it seems still a little...
Yeah, I don't know what to expect from the gameplay.
Yeah, I don't know.
Honestly,
I think whatever is there, I think it'll be good. I just hope that the story's not so nonsensical. You know what I mean? Like, I hope it all connects and interesting and meaningful ways, and it's just not all.
It looked like from the trailer, like it was pulling more in that direction than I had thought it might.
Right.
Prior to this recent trailer.
Yeah. Hopefully.
It looks like it's all becoming slowly more cohesive.
You're right.
And so that's what I hope. I hope it's, it's not just so obtuse that it's, you know what I mean? It's just like it's trying to be confusing.
It's too much.
And it's trying to trick you, and it becomes too much.
Kind of what happened to M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What is Kojima the M. Night Shyamalan of games?
No, because he hasn't made a bad game. he has that trust. He hasn't made a bad game yet. Until he does, and then he'll still have that trust. But if he makes like 2 in a row, then it's like
that's fair. All right, guys, that is everything for this week. Give it a thumbs up. Tell your friends. Definitely hit the subscribe button. And if you don't want to watch us, find us on all podcast services. All you have to do is search the Save Point Vids podcast on any service that you might use, and leave us a good review while you're there. And until next time, you guys stay safe.